Hey guys, so I just saw a really interesting video posted by, well, first it was posted by Sarah Caroli, and the second one I saw was posted by Natalie Lawyer, and I thought it was really interesting. And it's basically you read one page every time you pick up your phone. So there's actually an area in your phone where you can actually see how many times you picked up your phone in a day, and I have to read that many pages. Now I have literally no idea how many times I pick up my phone a day. I don't know if it's in the 200 range. I don't know if it's in like the 20 range. I know Sarah Caroli's was like in the 200 range. Natalie's was in like the 150 range. And I'm like, I have no idea what my number is gonna be. So I'm gonna do last week. So today is Monday, but I'm gonna do last Monday, and the amount of times I picked up my phone last Monday is how much I'm gonna have to read today, this Monday. So I just looked up how many times I picked up my phone last Monday, and it was only 45 times, which is crazy to me. Like, I thought for sure it was going to be at least in the hundreds. Like, I feel like I open up my phone way more than 45 times, especially because Sarah Caroli's was in like the 200s, I believe. So I was thinking it was going to be way more than that. So only 45 times, which means I have to read 45 pages today, which is totally doable, totally doable. So I'm gonna do Love and Other Words. This is what I'm currently reading right now. I started it last night and I think I only got like 20 pages in or something like that. So I have to read 45 pages. So I just looked and I ended on page 17 last night. So I have to read to page 62 today, which is totally doable. I can do that. So, but I'm gonna read a little bit now and then I'm gonna read a little bit later as well. And I think it's gonna be pretty easy to get the 45 in. So let's get started. Okay, you guys, so I just got done doing a whole bunch of chores and just stuff around the house, cleaning, laundry, all that kind of stuff. And I have about a half an hour before I have to pick up Elena from school. So I think I'm going to read a little bit more of this, see if I can get my 45 pages in. It's hard for me though sometimes to like read when I know that I have a lot going on. Like, I feel like I'm able to allow myself to read more when I actually get stuff done. And then once I get like a whole bunch of stuff done for the day, I am able to focus on reading better. Like earlier today when I tried to read, I was like in the back of my head going like, you have so much to do, you have so much to do, you have so much to get done, like get that stuff done first and then read. And I'm trying to get better about that, like not always having to get stuff done before you sit down and read a little bit. Like, it's okay, you're not gonna die. Okay guys, so the interesting thing about this book is the chapters are like really short, which is making the reading process really, really fast. So I'm already on page like 49 and I'm gonna be done with this challenge like really, really soon. So I'm probably gonna read more today than I'm supposed to read. But yeah, this book is just one of those books with really short chapters, which I like short chapter books. But for a, you know, challenge like this, it's kind of like, I feel like cheating a little bit, but it's fine. Okay guys, so I made it to my goal yesterday, which was pretty easy. I actually ended up reading more than what I was supposed to read because I had a ton of time before bed. And so I read up to like 89. So I read a lot more than I was supposed to read yesterday. But last week on Tuesday was Halloween. And so I feel like, I haven't looked yet, but I feel like it's gonna be more because I vlogged on Halloween. And when you vlog, you have to constantly open your phone and you constantly have to like, you know, pick up your phone to vlog and take pictures and things like that. So I feel like it's gonna be a higher number, but I'm not 100% sure. Okay, so I just checked the number and I only picked up my phone 61 times on Halloween, which is kind of weird to me. I feel like I should have picked it up more because I was vlogging and taking pictures and stuff like that. But why it might be so low is because when I'm like getting ready for something big, like I'm doing my makeup and like getting my costume all ready and the kids' costumes ready, I'm not really picking up my phone. So I think a majority of the day I was like really focused on getting ready. So that's probably why it was so low. But 61 is still higher than it was yesterday. So hopefully I'm gonna be able to get it done. I was actually gonna film the video and then I was gonna do some cleaning and things like that. So I'm not gonna be able to really get to this reading until later in the day when my kids are home from school. So hopefully I can get it done. I probably will, I'm not too worried, but that puts me on so I got to 89 yesterday. So that puts me to page 150, which is doable. I think I can do it because like I said, this book, Love in Other Words, is pretty short chapters. And so it actually makes this challenge fairly easy. So far, I'm really liking this book. It's really cute. It's definitely a little bit slow going at the beginning, you know, like getting to know the characters and stuff like that. And it takes place in dual timelines, but I really like these characters so far. And I can tell this is going to be one of those heartbreaking, probably very impactful reads because you're getting to know these characters so deeply in their childhood and in their adulthood. And I feel like when you do that, it makes the love stories a little bit stronger. It kind of reminds me of Song of Achilles, where you see their entire life and how their entire life kind of revolved around each other. And so it makes the story is just a bit more impactful. And I feel like that is how this one is going to be. So I'm really, really excited about it. But okay, guys, so I have my, oh my God, Euchers. I'm trying to film. I know. So I have my limoncello. I don't know if you guys have ever had this LaCroix limoncello flavor. It is so good. It's literally the only LaCroix that I like. It tastes like lemon cupcake, but in like pop form. It's weird. So anyways, I'm finally sitting down to read a little bit. I filmed a video, which should be up today, but I'm gonna start this, at least get a little bit of my 61 pages. It was 61, right? I'm pretty sure. So I'm gonna try to get a little bit of this done before Elena gets home and then do more tonight, hopefully. So one thing I'm finding a little bit frustrating about this book is how us as the reader don't get to know what happened between them. And so I feel like I'm confused. Like the entire time I'm a little frustrated because like I know that they have like a conflict between them, but I don't know what it is. And so it's frustrating for me as the reader to read them like talking and stuff because I'm like, well, I don't know what happened between you guys, so I can't really judge the situation. And I want to be able to judge the situation. So it's like the only thing I'm kind of frustrated with. Like I can't fully connect myself. I don't know if anyone else felt like that with this book or reading this book, but it's not bad by any means. Like I'm actually enjoying the book a lot. It's just that one thing that I'm feeling a little bit frustrated with. And I'm like, I want to know like what happened. Okay, you guys, so I finished my goal yesterday. As you guys saw, I did a clip of me getting to page 160 or something, 163, I can't remember, but I hit my goal and I actually read a little bit over because I had to like finish the chapter or whatever. So today I just looked at my goal and it looks like I have to read 52 pages, which isn't as much as yesterday, but it's more than the first day. And I'm glad it's not super, super high today because I kind of have a headache, so I don't want to read a ton. So it's good that it's a little bit lower today, but I'm kind of mad. Like these numbers are not high. Like this challenge is kind of a fail because I was hoping that I would be able to like challenge myself and it's just like not turning out to be that way, which kind of sucks, but it's fine. It's still fun anyways. And it's just a fun little video idea to do. So that is what I'm going to do right now. I'm just going to lay down for a little bit and read for just a little bit. And then I'll probably take a little nap just because my head is not feeling the greatest. So that is what I'm going to do. And hopefully I hit my goal today. Okay, you guys, so today's Thursday and I have 61 pages to read today, which is kind of weird because 61 was the same as Tuesday. Like I picked my phone up the same amount of times as Tuesday. So that's kind of weird. I don't have a lot going on today, so I'm going to try to get as much reading in as I can. And I might even read over 61 pages, but that is the goal for today. And I think I'm going to be able to do it just fine. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, you guys, so I am on page 240. So I'm getting through it slowly but surely, but I'm gonna make a quick iced coffee. I'm not usually an iced coffee person. I'm usually like either just hot drip coffee or just like a Starbucks or something, but I'm gonna try making my own. I just wanna do that. So we're gonna see how that goes. Because you guys know how I feel about my white peppermint mocha. So we're gonna make a white peppermint mocha iced coffee using cold brew. you guys, so I just made it to 270, so I hit my goal for the day, and this book is interesting. Like, I'm really liking the book. I like the characters and things like that, but what I'm finding really interesting about this book is that it doesn't have like a side plot or like an overall like goal or anything. I mean, their goal is to like, I think, get together, but like that's it. So what I'm finding is every single chapter and pretty much every single page is them just talking to each other. Her and Elliot are just talking to each other. So it goes past to present, and it shows them friends in the past and then them kind of like in the future, kind of trying to figure out their relationship or whatever. Like, it's us watching their relationship grow as kids and adults, but there's really nothing else to it. And so I'm finding it kind of hard to want to pick up this book because just nothing is really happening. And I'm not somebody that likes talking movies or just talking books where it's just like people talking to each other about like nothing. That is how I feel like this book is. So I'm kind of wishing that there was maybe some sort of side plot going on, because I just kind of feel like it's a little bit uneventful, a little bit underwhelming, sort of. Like, I'm just getting a little on the bored side. So that's kind of where I'm at with this book. I'm not hating it by any means. I'm just feeling like it's a little bit very dialogue heavy. So I'm gonna keep reading a little bit. I'm gonna pass my 61 pages. I'm gonna read a little bit more, and then I will update you guys again. Okay, so yesterday I didn't film really at all, but I did hit my goal. I think my page number count was like 70 or something like that. Today it's only 35. I only picked up my phone 35 times last Saturday, which is very little. But I think I'm gonna try to just finish the book today, and then I'll let you guys know what I thought of the overall book. So I'm gonna read more than 35 pages, but I do wanna finish this. Like, I just want to finish it. Like, you know, when you get to the point in a book where you're like, okay, like I really want to know like what's going on. So, all right, so I finished the book, and so I feel like the end of this book was super, super good. Like, it's one of those books where it's like a really slow build up, but once you get to like this certain point in the book, like there's no possible way to put it down. Like, you have to finish it. That's kind of how I feel like the end of this book was. So it was actually pretty easy to finish, like once I was there at that point in the book. But the thing about it is the end can't fully make up, I feel like, for the rest of the book. And the book was just overall just a very, 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 very slow book in regards to plot. The fact that it's just them getting to know each other, and it's just a lot of dialogue and a lot of talking and just kind of a lot of, you know, seeing what their dynamic is, but there's really no other plot other than that, which, I don't know, it was just kind of boring. I'm not gonna lie. Like, when I was reading it, it was fine and I was enjoying it, but it was just a really hard book to pick up. Like, once I put the book down, like, I wasn't excited to pick it up because I kind of felt like I knew what I was about to read. Like, I knew we were going to eventually find out why the breakup happened and why the fallout happened, but I knew that it wasn't going to be until like the very, 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 very end, which I was right about. And so I knew picking up this book exactly what I was going to be getting, and I think that's why it was so hard for me to kind of pick up throughout the story. The other thing about this book is it's very, very focused on bad communication. And I'm not a bad communication person. Like, it's just one of those things that really, really frustrates me in books. And that is literally the plot of this book. Like, it's what the plot of this book is pretty much based on, is like a misunderstanding and then them not communicating at all. What this book is about, basically, I'm going to explain this so you guys understand kind of what I mean. So it's a 2-timeline thing. So there's the past timeline where they're getting to know each other as children. So they're like childhood best friends and they're everything to each other. Like, they're literally each other's favorite person. And they kind of start dating finally once they get into like their teenage years. But then there's like this huge, huge fallout, and they don't talk for 11 years. And then we have the present timeline where they're adults and they see each other again, like they run into each other, and it's them like rekindling their past, but they will not talk about the fallout that they had. And so the entire book, you don't know why that fallout happened. So that's basically the storyline. So the thing about this book that was frustrating was I understood that there was a fallout and there was a miscommunication and all that kind of thing, which is fine if it is done well. But the only problem was when they were adults, they wouldn't talk. Like, it was so important for them to actually talk. Otherwise, like, this, you know, their relationship was never going to go anywhere. And they kept putting off the big conversation. So it was like, oh, let's talk next week. Let's talk tomorrow. Let's talk next month. And then finally we'd get to that place and he'd be like, oh, let's talk next week. So they kept pushing the talk back over and over and over again. And even at the very end, when they finally had the big talk, she was still wanting to wait and have the talk tomorrow. And I'm just like, and I was just getting really frustrated by the end because, like I said, I felt like us as readers, you know, we were like made to judge this relationship and like what it was that was going on with them and all that kind of thing. But there was a huge element missing that we weren't getting. And it was like, I can't really know what's going on until you tell me, you know? And so that I think was kind of the frustrating part. There was also a scene at the end, and the second I read it, it was something that happened to Elliot. That's all I'm going to say. If you guys have read it, you know. If you haven't read it, you don't know. But I'm just going to say it was odd to me the way that that whole thing was handled. Like, I sort of feel like something really, 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 really traumatic happened to Elliot, the male love interest, and it was completely skimmed over. They didn't talk about it. There was no like empathy or sympathy for him at all. It wasn't like, oh my God, I am so sorry that happened to you. It was just like, whatever. Like, they didn't even talk about it. It was just all about Macy and her problems. And I'm like, what happened to Elliot was like really, really kind of a big deal. And we're just gonna like pretend like he doesn't deserve a little bit of empathy there or sympathy or whatever. Like, it was just very, very odd. And I felt like it could have been dealt with just a little bit better. But the thing is, with all of that said, I didn't hate this book. It was a good like story. Like, it was a really good overall, just like once you get to the end, you know, it's like one of those hindsight is 20/20. Like, once you finish it, you can like look back at the book as a whole and you can say, oh, that was like a good book. Like, I enjoyed the overall plot line. I liked the end. I liked kind of seeing how everything kind of like played out and everything. But I think just the reading process without knowing some key information was just frustrating at times. And that's kind of why sometimes the reading process was not the best, but the overall reading like journey was good as a whole. I don't know. It's so hard to explain. I ended up giving this 3.5 stars. I was going back and forth like crazy trying to decide if this was a 3-star book or a 4-star book. I actually gave it 4 stars first and put that as my like rating on Goodreads, and then I went back like an hour later and I moved it down to a 3, but it was still good. Like, I still recommend this book and I recommend reading it because it is like kind of an epic love story. I feel like childhood friends to lovers and childhood friends to second chance romance, those two tropes together can be like a really good epic love story, and that's definitely kind of the vibes that this had. It was just there was just a few things missing for me, and I think it was just the format. Maybe. I'm not sure. I would say if you like epic love stories, definitely read this one because it definitely has those qualities. I can definitely understand why people would love this, but I can also understand how people could be so-so on this. Like, I feel like it could go both ways and both opinions are pretty valid, if that makes sense. So I just kind of went in the middle, which kind of sucks because I was so excited to read this because I thought this was going to be like top tier romance because so many people talk about it. And I get why they feel like it's a top tier. It just wasn't top tier for me personally. So that is it. I hope you guys like this video. I know it wasn't quite as big of a challenge maybe as some people's, you know, versions of this video. Like, I really did think that I was going to be picking my phone up more than like 35 times a day. I thought it was going to be in the 100 range. And so it was kind of a fail in that regard. Like, I thought I was going to be challenged more, but it was still fun to do. And I enjoyed kind of reading this book throughout the week with you guys. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Maybe I'll try to do more challenge videos in the future, but that is it. So I will see you guys at my next video and I will talk to you soon.